Hi, hello. My name is Ben. I'm your host. Welcome to Little Dead Aliens. And with me today, I have Cass from Distant Echoes. Hello, Cass.
Hello, I'm so happy to be here.
Oh,
I'm such
thank
an
you.
X-Files nerd, and I don't get to talk about it at all on my Star Wars podcast, so
Yeah, that's kind of a bummer. Awesome. I don't know. Yeah, I guess I was going to say, I don't know if the other people that have been on have been like really big X Files fans, but most of them had at least have some fandoms. I'm excited to have you here. Thanks for coming and joining. We're going to talk about the episode Shadows today. But before we get into that, do you want to give sort of your history with the X Files and horror?
Yeah, so, I know I have told you off pod, but I went through, like, a binge of X-Files probably a little bit after COVID. Um, really didn't have much to do, except, like we also discussed off pod, playing Animal Crossing and watching TV. And so I was like, you know what? Aside from Star Wars, which we finished watching, our like inspiration for making our entire show was finishing Clone Wars, which just wrapped up like in 2018. So right after that, and having watched that, I was like, I got to get into these other shows that I haven't watched. So I watched all of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, which I had also never watched. I watched almost all of Star Trek, which I had never watched. And X Files was also on that list. So a little bit after COVID, I binged all of that. My memory is horrible, though. I truly can't remember a lot. So rewatching this episode, especially since it's like, I don't know, episode 5 or 6, um, was very interesting. The beginnings of this show was a little wild, to say the least, I feel like, but still really fun to watch for sure. Um, and in terms of horror, I've always been a horror girly. I watched my dad play Resident Evil as a kid. I just recently finished watching one of my favorite streamers, Granny on Twitch, play Resident Evil Requiem, which is really good if you haven't seen it. So it started with horror games, and then, which I will never play myself. I will just watch other people play. It's very distinct. Um, and I just love it. It evolved into just getting my Shutter subscription and watching just so much horror on my own. I feel like I'm finally at a point, 36 years old, where I can watch stuff horror by myself and not be terrified out of my mind. And now I have to watch it by myself because my partner, Tommy, who also does Distant Echoes with me, refuses to watch horror movies. So that kind of
Nice.
sucks.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat. My husband doesn't like scary, like if it's scary horror, he doesn't want to watch it, but he'll watch like slashers and stuff that aren't scary
Mm.
with me. I got him into those, but yeah. Okay, awesome. It sounds like COVID was like a crash course in like millennial stuff for you, Buffy and
Yeah. Which I
X
am a
Files.
millennial, but like for some reason I just missed the boat on a lot of things.
Yeah,
But I caught up.
that's awesome. Yeah, I'm jealous of people who grew up with horror because I didn't. I was like had very strict parents who didn't want me to watch anything. So I'm jealous of that. That's awesome. But yeah, hitting that peak of like, oh, nothing scares me anymore is pretty it's pretty epic.
Are you
And
there
then when
too, or do you still get scared of stuff?
uh it happens occasionally. It's been a while since I watched something that really scared me. And when I say scares me, I mean like keeps me up at night. Like I can't
Mhm.
sleep because I'm scared. Not like
Yes.
scared in the moment, like that's fun. But like, yeah, the keep you up at night kind of horror, it doesn't happen very often anymore.
That's such a good distinction. That's what I mean too. Because yeah, you reach a threshold where like it's fun to be scared and that's why you like it. And in the moment of being scared, watching it is fine. It's like going through like a, like a haunted house or something. But it's cool, but it's also not that great when yeah, you're going into the kitchen in the middle of the night to go get something and then you have to run back to your room really fast cuz all the lights are out.
Right? Like I heard something in the garage, I know it.
Uh-huh, uh-huh. I've been there a few times.
Yeah. It's fun, but also not fun, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So I also like to ask like a sort of get to know you question related to the X Files. So for you, since you do a Star Wars podcast, I wanted to know, what do you think Mulder and Scully's lightsaber colors would be?
I love this question. This is so fun. Um, Without being too lore nerdy about the color of lightsabers and what that means, because that's a whole thing that we've gotten into before on Distant
Okay,
Echoes. Um,
so sorry, I'm just getting
yeah,
interrupted because I don't know anything about that
yeah.
whole like my husband is kind of a Star Wars nerd, and like he has been sick this past weekend and been like watching reels, and like really nerdy Star Wars stuff comes up and he's like just watching it and I'm like, can you skip this please? So I don't know anything about that. So it's fine if you want to get a little nerdy. That's fine.
Okay. Well, just a little bit. And to be honest, we go into that kind of stuff cuz it's fun, but we don't gatekeep anything about Star Wars, right? Like we don't care about canon, non-canon. So even if I do say something that's non-canon, I could just tell you for your listeners, I don't care. I
Okay.
don't care. I just love what I love, everyone loves their own thing. So I did think about this beforehand. So Scully's lightsaber I think would be yellow because to me, the yellow lightsaber reminds me of I think, Jedi Sentinel, which is a type of Jedi that was like an investigative Jedi who was
Mm,
very like uh, logical and forward thinking, and had to think about the evidence very tangibly, which is something that she actually says in this episode. So that is why I would give her a yellow lightsaber. And I don't know if a yellow lightsaber again really has that meaning now, but in the Knights of the Old Republic video games, that it was a class that you could be. So that's why I like that. Mulder,
okay,
I
cool.
think, would have a blue lightsaber, and I think because he reminds me a lot of Anakin. Um, like, not Padawan Anakin, but more like Jedi Knight Anakin. That's just very, like, brash and, like, goes with his gut. And so I was like, I can't see him with the green lightsaber because a green lightsaber is like a master, typically a Jedi master like a Yoda or
Mm,
something like that, and I don't think he's quite at least where we are right now on the show. I was thinking about that too, like, he's not quite there yet. So, yeah, I
mm.
would say yellow for Scully and blue for Mulder.
Okay, awesome. I don't know why I thought blue for Scully, it just knowing nothing, and, like, purple for
Ooh,
Mulder just because, like, I know, Samuel L. Jackson, like, requested purple, and it's,
yeah,
like, a weird one, like a
mhm,
one-off, and Mulder is, all about being weird and spooky.
that's true. He would also probably pick his own color.
It's like fuchsia,
Yeah, not exactly purple,
right.
indigo or something.
Awesome, that's a great answer. Thank you so much for humoring me,
Yeah.
and, uh, so next, I guess let's just do a quick recap of what happened in this episode, if you don't mind doing that.
Yeah, so I feel like it's a pretty straightforward kind of story for the most part. Um, there is this, we're introduced to this woman who, her, like, I guess it's her boss at her job dies. We don't know how, but ever since his death, she has started to experience these strange things. Um, Not even just strange. She's like, literally, if someone gets upset with her or something happens with her, people start dying around her, getting choked out. Like it it goes downhill really fast. And so of course, Scully and Mulder are sent in to investigate because they can't understand how these people are dying. There's no physical evidence as to how they're dying. And so their first thing is, Mulder's like, okay, well, some Carrie shit is happening. Like it is some type of psychokinesis or something like that. And they find out, yes, that it seems like her boss is protecting her or like help like watching over her in some disturbing way as to like keep her from what is actually happening at this company. And I kind of got like in the weeds about what was actually happening at this. It was very strange, like the intensity of what was happening at this company was crazy because apparently, like, there was, like, a terrorist group involved, and they were, like, out to get the boss, and then you find out that the guy who replaced the boss, like, was also part of it or something, and he ends up trying to get her killed at the end, of course, and, uh, so that was just kind of wild, but by the end of it, it comes down to there's a ghost, and the ghost needs to be soothed, uh, and so that occurs in some way. The girl, I think her name is Lauren. Is it Lauren, I think? Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Um,
it Lord.
yeah, she leaves that job only to go to another job, and there's this funny little scene at the end where she thinks that her boss is haunting her again because the coffee cup on the secretary's desk is shaking, but then it's just the train going by, so she's like, "Thank God I'm normal again," and that's kind of the end of the episode. I don't
Yeah.
know if that was a good recap, but that's what I have.
No, it was. There's this thing that I'm discovering about these early episodes that every time you like, even immediately after watching it, you're like, "Wait, what just happened?" Because
Yeah.
there are all these, like, little sort of subplots that don't make a ton of sense after you've watched it,
Mhm.
and you're like, there's, like they're, like, Russian, maybe terrorists, or were they Armenian? Anyway, it's some,
Islamic,
like
I think.
oh, yeah, 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 okay.
Yeah.
Um, and, like yeah, they're, like, selling information to them or something, and something's hidden in
Yeah.
the wall, and the ghost, like, tells them where it's at,
Yeah,
and
it was, like, really intense and I first thought, because 'cause I've watched it twice. I watched it last night, and then I watched it again this morning,
oh,
so
wow,
very
okay.
quickly in succession, and last night, I was, like, half watching, like, half doing something else, and then I was like, "I'm gonna watch it, like, in full again," and watching it kind of while you're doing something else, you get that vibe of, like, you can't look away for a second because something weird will happen. Because I
Mhm,
initially thought that she just worked at, like, a paper company or something. I was like, "She just works at this company. Why are these terrorists coming after?"
right. Because like, the CIA is involved. Because when they first go to see the body, the CIA is being very, like, "We're not
Very
gonna tell you
weird.
anything," which is one of my favorite moments is Mulder I wrote down the quote because it's insane. He tells Scully because Scully's like, "Why did you lie to the CIA?" Basically. He's like, "I would never lie, willfully participated in a campaign of misinformation," which is,
Yes.
like, awesome.
He's
Um,
wild. I love him so much.
yeah. So, yeah, that's what happens in the episode. Um So before we get into some movie recommendations based on the episode, I love it when in the episode they give us recommendations because that happens twice in this one. Like you said, um, Mulder's like, "Oh, it's probably psychokinesis," just off the bat, and Scully says, "Oh, like in Carrie," and then later, I remember the scene that they're outside around a car. Oh, because their brakes go out or something.
Yes, the ghost
Um,
has, like, charged up their car with his electrostatic energy and has, well, forced it to crash.
Right, because if there's not enough going on, he's also using electricity a lot to
Exactly.
hurt people, I guess. He also presumably, killed himself. So
Yes.
that come I get we're probably not gonna talk about that, but, like, yeah. Anyways,
Mhm.
there was a lot going on. So they're inspecting the car, and the mechanics are like, "There's nothing wrong with the car." And Mulder's like, "Well, maybe it's a poltergeist." Um Which is the next logical conclusion,
Of
and
course.
Scully's like, "They're here." So, like,
Mhm.
2 direct references to horror movies in one episode is pretty cool. Alright, so the first thing I like to talk about is some themes in the episode. Um, were there any that really stuck out to you, or I can go first, or
Well, I see you have written here protection. I would agree with you that that was a huge one. I just thought it was very interesting that they decided that the relationship between Lauren and her boss was one that was like a father and daughter. For whatever reason, we find out there's like this really interesting scene where they go to the graveyard to look at like their because they're on this hook that they actually don't think that the boss is dead. They think that he, like, faked his death in some way, and they don't really know why. They feel like maybe he and Lauren are, like, hiding something. That's kinda like the logical route that Scully is following, right? And so they're
Mhm.
like, "Well, we have to make sure that the guy's actually dead," and they find out that the boss's actual daughter, died. She drowned when she was, like, 3 years old. He, like, left the gate to the pool open or something, and I was like, "That is intense." That is an intense tidbit of information to get in, like, 3 minutes, but that kind of obviously sets us up for him being very protective of Lauren, um, and very angry, like, there's a point where he's literally just, like, force choking everybody that's
Mhm.
around, and she is starting to get upset. Once she starts to, like, pull the pieces together and starts to think that, this is what's going on, I sense this feeling around me. I sense that it feels like him. She's, like, shouting to him at various points being like, "No, like, don't do this, don't hurt them." But he's not listening. So it, like, goes over it kinda spills over into this, like, just preacher-esque type person that maybe has control over himself. I don't know. We don't know. So, I also felt that kind of vibe for sure.
Yeah, so definitely like the idea of like protection, but not only that, but protection from like beyond the grave
Mm.
sort of thing, because that's what's going on in the episode. The first one I immediately thought of was The Crow from 1994
Mm.
because it's been I probably haven't seen it since the 90s, but in this one, he dies and then he comes back to life, I guess, as like a spirit of vengeance to kill all the people who also murdered his girlfriend.
Hmm.
Um, it's a classic for a reason, but yeah, it's been a while since I've watched it. I need to watch it again.
Okay.
Um, there's also, I don't know if you saw The Black Phone from 2021.
I have not, but I've
Okay.
heard that I should watch that
It's
for
good.
various reasons.
Yeah, it's good. The sequel's bonkers. I would watch it just so you could watch the sequel because the sequel
Okay.
was like pretty great. But in the Black Phone, this kid is abducted, and then he is getting. There's a phone in the room where he's being held, and like these little ghost kids are calling him, previous victims, and they're like trying to help him.
Hmm.
Um, so there's a little bit of that. It's not as overt as like The Crow or something, but there's a
Interesting.
yeah. I don't wanna give too much away, for people who haven't seen it, but yeah, that's basically what's
Yeah.
happening in the Black Phone. It's good. Um, and then I don't know, Mandy from 2018 with Nicolas Cage.
I haven't actually seen any of these that you have on here.
Okay.
Just so you know.
Sorry. Okay.
No, that's fine. Tell me about them. I
Yeah.
need a list of recommendations.
Okay, awesome. So in Mandy, he Nicolas Cage isn't dead, but his girlfriend is killed by this group of weird people, and he goes on this really weird revenge through, like, hell, and it's really cool looking. It's a really, like, kind of slow burn until it's not kinda
Hmm.
movie, so if you get past I think the first time I watched it, I was like, "This is pretty boring," and, like, did something else instead. But if you get past that, it's pretty great, but he's basically it's a revenge movie, with some paranormal aspects to it. Um And then Oddity from 2024, this one's really good. This is one of the last ones, as we were talking about, like, being scared when watching a movie. This one, the beginning is sort of found footage-ish, because
Mm.
of this girl staying in this kind of creepy house on her own. And the beginning scene is very effective, but, the rest of the movie is also very, very creepy, but she is killed in this house or she's missing, and her sister is she's like a blind medium, so
Mm.
she can, like, touch objects and, like, get information from them, so she goes to stay in the house where her sister was killed to, like, try to figure out what's going on, and then takes revenge on the person who did it. Um, through really
Hmm.
creepy memes. There's like a golem involved, a very creepy like golem monster thing. Uh,
Ew.
it's very creepy, very cool, kind of weird. So yeah, but she's definitely like she's also not dead, but she's definitely protecting her sister who is dead, and getting revenge as well.
Interesting. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to check that one out. That does sound like it's up my alley for sure.
Um, and the last one I thought about for this one was Presence from 2024, which is also fits into the next theme we're going to talk about, but it's the uh, known as the movie that's from the ghost perspective. Like the camera follows as the ghost throughout the whole movie. Um,
Hmm.
it has Lucy Liu in it, which is a reason to watch in
Oh,
and of
that's
itself.
awesome.
Yeah,
Okay.
and so it's through the movie, you learn why this will fit into this category. I don't wanna give the ending away, but,
Okay.
yeah, if you're into, like, ghost stories, and this also fits into, like, a protection theme, so I might have
Okay.
given too much away by saying that, but yeah,
No,
Presence was good.
I'm excited. Okay, I'm like looking up pictures from all these and they look
Nice.
very interesting.
Awesome. Uh, what about did you think of any movies that sort of fit this theme?
Not off the top of my head. I think I focus more on the themes than the movies themselves. I have a very like classic horror background. So some
Yeah.
of the mainstays are kind of what I have watched and thought of, and I'm really trying to dig into more of the cerebral and more of the just like well known in the horror sphere type movies, but I haven't actually seen them yet.
Mhm.
So I'm still getting educated on horror as much as I love it. I'm still learning. So this is a perfect list for me to start to stack up. And there's only a few on the next list that I've also seen. So I hope that's okay. You're gonna have to school me
Yeah, no,
again.
that's fine. Well, before we get into it, do you were there other themes that you wanted to talk about?
I really like this isn't really a theme, but I was thinking more along the lines of it's so interesting to see the relationship of Mulder and Scully like at this point in time in this show. Like my most familiar memory at this point are like the later episodes and the relationship of the two of them. And so it's always funny just to go back and refresh your memory of just how distant they were to one another at this time and how skeptical they were of each other and very frustrated that Mulder was that, you know, no one could seem to understand all of these things that were very obviously happening around them and his frustration at that. And so I kind of focused in on that. I love just watching that happen because it's just been so long since I've seen that.
Awesome.
So it's good to see it again.
Yeah, it's the early yeah. I really enjoy the early stuff too, just for like getting to watch those moments and like
Mhm.
see how they're developing as a couple because that's what they are. Um,
Yeah. Oh, you know what? Another theme, I guess, like a ghost theme that I did think of, and I can't think of a movie off the top of my head, but there are so many of like blood in the bathtub sort of thing.
yeah.
Like this sudden gore that just occurs. And that was interesting because in ghost movies in general, or a lot of paranormal, you're not unless like it's like a Bloody Mary type situation or a very gory ghost, sometimes you don't get any blood at all, right? Like, it's
Mhm.
usually, like, a spectral thing or just, like, the grotesque visual of a creature, but there's not, like, just, like, straight up blood. But in Carrie, we're getting her, like, soaked in pig's blood. We still have that same visual, so I just thought it was interesting that they decided to bring that out, and in a way that was kinda weird. It was like Lauren that's how she found out that her boss had been killed, was that there was
Right.
blood in the bathtub, and I don't really think that connection was, like, made very well in the actual, like, show. I think they just really wanted to show blood in a bathtub. I think they just really wanted to have, like, a scary, like, quintessential horror moment because the connection I didn't really get why she suddenly thought that. Like, that was a lot to surmise from just blood and a going down a drain. I was like, "Okay,
Yeah.
girl."
She got, like, a vision of him in the bathroom, right? Or, like,
Kind
was it
of.
just the bloody
Fr
bathtub?
it was just from what I remember, why when I watched it again, it was just blood pooling in the water, and she was having a panic attack, and she was suddenly like, "They killed him." I was like, "Okay."
Right.
Again, that's a lot to get from that visual, but maybe she saw
Yeah.
more that we didn't see. I don't know.
Yeah. It was also maybe the only time that she's getting, like, visions from him,
Mhm.
which was yeah, also very random. Um,
That's true.
I really did like this actress, though,
Mhm.
that played Lauren. She was really good, which, rarely kinda happens in early '90s TV, but,
Yeah.
um, yeah, we do usually in paranormal stuff, ghost stories, if we see blood, it's like the black, gooey blood. It's not like
Mhm.
actual blood, which is cool, but yeah. Um, the only other theme that I really thought about was like obsession from beyond the grave
Mm.
is happening here a lot. And I had a list of some stuff that kind of goes along with too. The first one, eh, have you seen Prom Night or Prom Night 2?
Mm-mm.
Okay. So Prom Night is like a pretty basic slasher, but Prom
Okay.
Night 2, it's called Hello Mary Lou. This vengeful teenage ghost girl like possesses this other girl and is just doing like crazy teenage ghost girl stuff. It's so good. Like, it's just
Okay.
really great. It's my favorite one in the Prom Night series, which is like
Okay.
not a series you need to watch at all. The first one does have a dance scene from, how did I forget her name? Halloween. Uh,
Oh. Oh my god. Oh
and
my
we're both
god.
having the same brain fart.
Yes.
Um, uh, obviously, I'm not.
Jamie Lee Curtis.
Jamie Lee Curtis has a dance scene, um, like a disco
Okay.
dance scene in Prom Night, so there's that. That's kind of the highlight of the movie.
Oh, that's awesome.
But Prom Night 2, Hello, Mary Lou from 1987, I feel like it's a must watch if you're into, like, cheesy '80s horror.
Okay.
It's just really good. Like, she's possessed this girl, and she's doing all these awful things and, like, killing people to get her revenge, and, like, the boy that she's, like, sort of seducing and, is getting blamed for everything, so it's just there's sort of some Heathers vibes to it in
Ooh.
some aspects, I think, but, so yeah, that one's good.
Okay.
Um, there's one called The Night House from 2020. This one is one of the better horror movies I've seen in the past 5 or 6 years for
Mm,
sure. And this one, her husband dies and he was an architect, so she's living in the house that he built.
mm.
And there's like this mirror house that is unfinished that she finds like in the woods or something. So
Whoa.
she's sort of investigating what's going on with or what was going on with her husband while he was still alive. And there are all these like ghost things happening. The one thing this movie does that's really cool and that I haven't really seen in many horror is the camera will pan and then various aspects of the house, like the architecture, will become like the silhouette of like a face or a person or something. And it's so
Whoa.
effective, it's so creepy. This
That
movie
is
feels
neat.
yeah, it's really cool. It's one of those movies that I finished and was like, "Okay, this is amazing, I need to tell everyone about it," which is what I'm doing now. So,
Yeah, thank you. I'm
yeah,
so excited.
The Night House was really good. I don't know if I Know What You Did Last Summer, 1997 counts for this.
I've definitely seen that.
Yeah. So, you know, this is the one about the teenagers who accidentally hit someone with their car, and
Mhm.
then the next summer, someone showing up and killing them because they know what they did last summer.
Mhm.
Um, so, he is he dead? Is he not? Who's doing it? We don't know. But it's sort of this revenge from beyond the grave or obsession from beyond the grave kind of idea. That
Absolutely.
is less intense than, like, The Night House. Um,
Yeah, the Night House looks fascinating. I love that, imagery you were talking about, like, with the architecture of the house changing into faces and stuff. That's so cool.
mhm. If you if you get the chance, put it on, turn all the lights off, and watch it, and
Okay.
you're probably gonna have a hard time sleeping.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
But
it's
I
good.
wanna do that.
I do too. I kinda wanna do that now too and
Oh,
watch it again.
yeah.
Um, and then, this one I did watch the other night for this show, What Lies Beneath from 2000 with Michelle Pfeiffer and Harrison Ford. Have you seen
Mm.
this movie or
No, but I
remember it?
I know of it. I vaguely know of it, yes.
Okay. It's one of those movies that I think was everywhere at the time, so you, like,
Mhm.
by osmosis, have seen this movie if you were
Mhm.
around that during that time, and I didn't remember much about it. It's, like, 2 hours long, which is way too long,
Yeah.
um, but it's basically Michelle Pfeiffer and Harrison Ford are married. Michelle Pfeiffer starts having ghost experiences and then, um is sort of discovering these things about her husband, and there's a ghost that's, like, helping her and telling her all these mysteries and stuff, and there's, like and, it's a decent ghost story. It's gonna give, like, ghost vibes, so if you're
Mhm.
wanting, like, murder mystery ghost vibes is what this is. It is a little too long. Harrison Ford is really hot in this movie. Um, as a
Like
Star Wars
peak
fan, I don't
Harrison
know.
Ford
Yeah,
timeline, yeah.
yeah.
Mhm.
Um, and he's like an asshole,
Of course.
really smart asshole, basically, is his whole thing. But so yeah, that was a good one. It fits this thing. Okay, so we talked briefly about before off pod, and I asked if we wanted because like the theme is ghosts, basically,
Mhm.
like that's what the episode is about. So rather than just list a bunch of ghost movies, I kind of wanted to talk about like what's your favorite ghost movie? And as I was doing this, I was like, wait, like several came to mind for me. So if you wanted, you could talk about more than one for sure because I probably will. But, do you wanna talk about your favorite ghost movie?
Yeah, so I have one that immediately came to mind, and I don't know what everyone else's thoughts are about this movie, but this is important to me because it was like the first ghost horror movie that I ever saw that really scared the crap out of me. And it has a funny kind of side story to it, which is why it scared me. And I actually ended up talking about it last night with my mom because we went out and saw a show and she just reminded me of it for some reason. She said something about it, but it was The Ring, which I saw in movie theaters. And then I saw my friend, which, of course, the whole thing about this is like one of the underlying things about this entire movie is like the viral, like, chain of events that, like, you see the ring and then there's this slow burn of like what actually happens after that. And um it reminded me a lot of in the early 2000s, those like chain messages you would get from people that
Mhm,
would be like, this little girl died, and if you don't like send this to 10 people, she's gonna come kill you and blah blah blah. And like that kinda stuff, I would still send those things to people even though I knew they were fake because, I was like, just on the off chance that Betty Sue decides she wants to actually murder me, this way, all I have to do is message somebody this whole
mhm.
thing and I'm fine. I'm in the clear. So, like, that stuck with me as a kid. Like, let's see, when did The Ring come out? It was 2002. So I was 12 years old when
Okay.
this came out. So, I was, like, in middle school, This was huge when I was in middle school.
Mhm.
I remember we went and saw the second one for my birthday when it came out. Um, I was just the scariest thing to me, like, slasher movies do not do it for me. Like, I like them, but they in terms of being scared. I've never been afraid of, like, a I love a Chucky, I love a Freddy Krueger, like, I love a crazy, like, freak who's usually funny, you know? But it's the ghost movies that unsettle me for some reason,
Hmm.
and I think it's because I myself have never had a well, not since recently, I don't think I've ever had a, like, an encounter with a ghost, right? And I'm kind of, like, sitting right in the middle of Scully and Mulder at this point, and I'm like, I would love to have something happen because that would just be cool to break reality like that, but also, I'm glad it hasn't because that would also I don't know what I would do with that information, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like, that would be very scary, and usually things can be explained away, and so this movie just, like, awoke some really deep-seated fear in me about just, like especially, like, little kid ghosts, like, they're the worst.
Mhm.
Little girls, like, the image of a little girl with this, like, black soaked hair, like you said, the black ooze, there's something really affecting about that imagery that just set me over the edge, and the side story that goes with this that made this movie even scarier for me as a kid was so my mom had me when she was in high school, so we're not very far apart in age, we're only 18 years apart. And so she used to, like, try to scare me all the time. It was like an experiment for her because I was her first child. She was like, "What can I do to scare the crap out of this kid?" So, I was in the living room watching this movie with my friends, and she had broken some glow sticks in half and had drawn rings all around my bedroom and wrote, "You will die in 7 days" on the wall. And when I went to go to bed and turn the lights off, I saw all of these things in my room.
Oh my
It was
god.
terrible.
Yeah.
It was terrible, and it worked.
That's yeah, that's terrifying.
Yeah.
Shout out to your mom, that's awesome.
Yeah. It was a really good prank. Um,
Yeah,
and I mean, she pretty much had to explain it immediately to me because otherwise, like, I was going to run out of the house and not be able to
right.
sleep. But, yeah, so I think that connected with that core memory of mine, just that movie just has a very deep seated like, it's just stuck in my soul,
Mm,
um, and particularly, that kind of led me into Japanese horror, which is a very specific type of horror that never fails to scare the living daylights out of me.
nice.
Um, the supernatural the ability to like, for Japanese, like, horror movie directors to create these supernatural like, very disturbing imagery that I've never seen, like, American filmmakers pull off, and it always scares me, so, uh and of course, The Ring was based on a Japanese, uh, story originally, so that is why, uh, that is my pick. All that's
Nice.
to say that is my one pick.
That's a good one. Uh, The Ring is scary. It's a scary movie.
Yes.
If you allow yourself to just, like, turn off all the lights, watch it with no distractions, it's gonna scare you.
Yes, which is what we did, and, it did that thing where, like, for the longest time, I don't know about you, it's not something we deal with now in this day and age where we don't have cable as much, but, like, whenever the TV was fuzzy and I couldn't like, I can't deal with that. I can't deal with
Mhm.
a fuzzy TV screen anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, it's really funny that you say that because, like, the reason I say that about The Ring is because I had a similar experience, like, so in 2002, I graduated in 2000, so I was working at, like, a summer camp, um, and it was off season, so I was one of the few people living at the camp, and, like, the place where all the dudes would stay was, like, this old, like, building above the pool house.
Mm.
So it's, like, creepy in the woods. Me and my friends go and see The Ring at the theater. they drop me off. I'm supposed to be the only one there, basically the only one at camp, like this huge camp. So I go into this to where I'm staying, and like it's two rooms. In the front room, like I can hear from the back room, which is where all the beds are, like a TV on. And I was
Oh
like, I'm
my
gonna die.
god.
Like I'm gonna die. The ring is here and I'm
Oh
gonna die.
no.
Someone had just come back early, but and was watching TV. But it scared the shit out of me.
Oh my
Um,
god, yes.
and so like you, I think that's one of the reasons it's still scary is because it's like that is there in my the trauma of that.
Mhm.
Um, that's awesome. Um,
Ugh.
so the first one I thought of when I thought of favorite ghost movie is 13 Ghosts
Oh,
from
yeah.
2001, which is not scary or any or even good. I just really like it.
I
So
love
I
that
could
movie too.
yeah, I was like, I can't that can't be the one. Uh, I think the others from 2001 is probably my favorite ghost movie. Like if I'm in the mood for a gooky ghost movie, that sort of hits all the vibes for me because I do really like haunted house ghost movies.
Mhm,
I just
mhm.
don't feel like there are many good ones.
Yes.
Um, which is why one I wanted to talk about was is Winchester from
Okay.
2018. It's about like Winchester Gun Company. They built this the woman who built this crazy house, which is like a real house you can go to, the Winchester Mansion. And
Hmm.
it's supposed to be like super haunted. But this movie is set back when she was alive, and this I think he's either an investigator or like a paranormal investigator goes to like figure out what's going on with the ghosts or whatever. And it's like really creepy. It's got all of the haunted house vibes you want, but also the house is like just full of like hidden passages and like secret rooms and stuff. And like they're looking at like the architecture and finding rooms that aren't supposed to be there or whatever.
Hmm.
That kind of vibe too, which I really love. So
Also, it's Helen Mirren. That's sick.
is it? Wow,
I
like I haven't seen this in a while. That's awesome.
I just looked it up. I was like, "That's Helen Mirren. That's crazy."
Amazing. Okay.
Ah.
So I'm gonna rewatch this probably this week, now. But so yeah, it's like a ghost movie that I never hear anyone talk about that I really liked
Yeah,
and
I've never
haven't
heard of that
watched again
either.
since. Um, but yeah, now I want to revisit it. That one was really good. Okay, The Ring is a good book.
Thank you. Yeah,
Yeah.
I love a, I mean, The Ring isn't really a found footage in the like, the normal sense of what we think of a found footage horror movie. There's definitely found footage. I mean, that's the whole thing is that, there's the tape and whatever. And I don't know about you, but I remember too that during that time frame, people were like VHSs were still a thing,
Mhm.
and people were, like, sharing copies of this on VHS tapes. And so
Mhm.
there was this added fear of, like, is it the VHS tape that they're watching of this little girl, or is it this movie itself that is like, once you watch this, you're screwed? Because people would, like, call people's landlines and scare you and like, prank you, and so yeah, the feasibility of this being a real thing was kind of, like, elevated, I think, because of that and the fact that VHS tapes and, cable TV and landlines were still a thing. Like, you can't do that anymore.
Right.
No one's gonna believe you at this point, but, like, then it felt very real. It was very interesting.
Yes. There's something distinct about the ring of a phone in this era of horror movies that is like,
Mhm.
I don't know where you got this ring from, but it's terrifying.
Yeah,
Like, no phone actually sounds
and
this
you
way,
all have it. Like,
but
why?
yeah.
Where is this coming from? What is this mass-produced ring, that horror
S
movie Ring?
yeah, that scary movie Ring. Yeah, where did it come from? Maybe I'll look that up sometime. Okay, so there weren't a lot of tropes. I figured we would talk a lot about ghosts, so there weren't a lot of tropes that came up in this episode. The only one for me that really stood out and that I love is like the blurry images of a ghost or like in a video or a photo.
Mhm.
So I really like this trope of someone looks at a photo and they're like, "Wait, what is that?" It's creepy. And, like, it's been there all along, that kinda trope. And this is one of
Yes.
those tropes that and I've found that this is true as I'm doing the show. Every time there's, like, a trope that stands out, and I'm like, "Oh, I'm gonna find a million examples of this," and then I find, like, 1 or 2. And I'm like, "I know that this is a trope that exists and happens all the time, but I it's just that weird, like, collective imagery that we create, I guess."
Mhm.
Um, but so I wanted to talk about this movie Shutter. So it's a Thai film from 2004. There's an American remake in 2008. And what's really funny, I'm glad you brought up like Japanese or J horror, because that was huge at the time. Because of The Ring, we had like
Mm.
tons of people remaking like Japanese and Asian movies as American movies, which is what
Mhm.
happened with The Ring. It just became just really popular. And in this movie, so this is a Thai movie, but in the American remake, the couple moves to Japan and there's like a little Japanese girl ghost, I think because of The Ring, rather than like maybe they just go to Thailand. I don't know.
Yeah, for
Instead, they
sure.
go to Japan, so it's a like a Japanese horror, which was really funny to me. But in this movie, in both films, the premise is that this couple get married, and then while on their honeymoon, they think that the woman is driving and they think they hit someone with their car. They can't find any trace of this person. They do an investigation. They try to figure out what happened to this person that they hit, this woman, and they can't find anything. And then something is showing up in all the photos that they're taking. The
Hmm.
husband in them both movies is a photographer. In the 2008 remake, it's Pacey from Dawson's Creek. Joshua Jackson
Mm.
is the husband. Um, and so they are talking to all these people about spirit photography and like, so they're in both movies, I believe there are mixed in within the movie, like quote unquote actual spirit photography, like pictures of ghosts. More than any other movie I could find, this one really does the whole like ghosts in a photo thing.
Mhm.
Um,
Like, pretty
s
explicitly.
right. It's kind of what it's about. There's a lot of baggage in this movie, so if you are sensitive to anything, definitely look up anything because there are some assault scenes in both movies. In the Thai version, it's a little more intense. I I have a weird relationship with, like, J-horror and Asian horror just because it's so much different, like, the pace of these movies is so much different than, like, an American movie.
Mhm.
Usually, I find them kinda boring, but they're always more effective, like, they're scarier.
Yeah.
So the Thai version is definitely scarier. It just feels longer, like the American movie, like something's happening every second.
Mm.
Um, but, like, the end scene is really effective. Um, just this idea of, like, a presence being with you all the time and, like, what that would do to you physically and mentally, but mostly physically is really, really cool and intense in this movie. But yeah, just be warned that there's a lot of kind of intense themes and, like, uh, assault stuff that happens.
Okay.
Um, but other than that, they're good movies. And then,
It's
uh
also cool that it's, like, Polaroid shots,
mhm,
which I think we all, like, have that. It's so easy now. It's not as easy to do that with, like, a digital camera, but with a Polaroid, there's so many, like, chemical things that can occur that can more likely make it seem like there's something blurry or visual happening that can make them really spooky, right?
mhm,
Um, and that's one thing about this episode that I thought was really funny was they have the picture of the ghost that shows up in the ATM footage when she gets attacked by the guys.
mhm,
They're immediately like, "Do you know this man?" They like show the picture and it doesn't even really look like a guy. I'm like, "Guys, like
yeah,
why are we suddenly assuming that that is a dude?"
right.
Which is
Yeah, that
really funny.
that part is funny because yeah, it's just like a blur in the background, and they're like, "Do you
Yeah.
know this man?"
Yeah.
Like, it's
Have you seen this man before?
right, and she's like, I if it were me, I would be like, "This blur in this
Yeah.
photo? No, I don't know
You mean
him."
this car going by? Like, I don't understand. This light?
Right,
What do
but
you
later
mean?
I guess they see photos that the CIA has maybe taken of
Yeah.
her in, like, her upstairs room or whatever, and he's there in the room, and that's why they think, "Oh, he's alive,"
Mhm.
because it does look like him, but it's a
Exactly.
ghost, so
Of course.
and then also, I just had to mention Final Destination 3 from
Oh.
2006 because, this is the one where she's getting clues about how people are going to die in the photos that she's taking.
Mhm.
Um, this is a very, like, mid-2000 movie where she's got, like, the digital camera that she's, like, uploading to her computer, and it's so great. Um,
Absolutely. No, that's perfect.
yeah. And I mean, that's sort of all I had as far as, tropes. I do like to kinda just throw out if there are any, like, movies that just style or vibe-wise you thought go along with the episode with no, like I didn't really think of any, but
Yeah, I don't think so either. I think the ghost theme was just so overpowering that that's kinda where your mind goes to anyway. And
mhm,
I think that the list that you picked out is awesome because there are just so many of these that I'm now just very interested in watching and that I haven't seen in a while. And I think I might watch The Ring again too.
yeah,
It's been a while. But yeah, that movie can still scare me
mhm,
for sure. Can't say that I was similarly scared by this episode, but it was at
right.
least still really fun to watch.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if any X-Files episodes really scare me. I know they
I
do
felt like
scare
it was
some people.
trying, but you
Right.
know,
Yeah. But yeah, not super scary. Um, okay. Well, thank you so much for joining me. And was there anything else that you wanted to mention or add about ghosts?
no, this was great. Like I said, I'm excited to have a revitalized repertoire of movies to look into that I haven't seen yet, especially ones that are so ghost related because that is such a fun. I feel like I've seen all the mainstream ones like, Paranormal Activity, all that kind of stuff. So to see some other ones that I haven't watched at all, thank you for providing me with those. I'm excited.
Sure. I'm happy that you are excited. And you'll have to tell me what you think of them if you watch them.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. Well, um, Cass, thank you again. If you want to let us know about where we can find you online and stuff.
Yeah. So I personally I'm Gonk Binary on Instagram and Blue Sky, and then Distant Echoes, me and Tommy's Star Wars podcast. We are Distant Echoes SW on Instagram, and then we are Distant Echoes Pod on Blue Sky.
Awesome. And again, my name is Ben. This is Little Dead Aliens. You can find me on Blue Sky and Instagram at Little Dead Aliens. We Distant Echoes and Little Dead Aliens is also part of the Glitter Dog Queer podcasting collective. So you can find information about both of our shows at glitterjaw.com. And thank you for listening. I hope you have a great and spooky rest of your day.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.